Alright, Black.Death.Thrash.Doom back again with the continuation of top black metal albums of all time, top 20 black metal albums of all time. Might help if I indicate that number in there. But you guys read the title, you guys get the point. This is 10 through 1, I already showed 20 through 11. If you haven't seen that, there will be a link below. I'll leave a link somewhere so you guys can check that out for sure. But this is 10 through 1, and again, same as last episode, these are not actually in order of importance at all. It's just alphabetical order. I did A through E on 20 through 11, and now we're doing I through whatever it ends at, W, I think. So, with that being said, we have the first album, which is number 10, and a super important album, and one that people are going to be like, well, why that album? This band has so many good albums, and I'll just go ahead and say the band, it's Immortal. But the album I chose is Sons of Northern Darkness. Yeah. Probably not first choice for a lot of people. But definitely my first choice. It's a really awesome album that encompasses many different styles of black metal, it seems like. Like, some songs are really slowed down and kind of doomish and kind of mellow black metal, like the very last song, Antarctica. But some songs are straight up thrashy. Some songs are straight up black metal. Either way, when I listen to Immortal, I definitely like pretty much all their music. I'm actually not a huge fan of their earlier stuff. I'm more of a fan of the mid through newer stuff. I actually debated having At the Heart of Winter as my favorite album, and I know that's not a fan favorite either, but when I first heard it, man, it blew me away. I don't know what it was about it. Those guitar riffs were so fucking good. That was when I learned how good Abath was as a guitar player, that he was like the Dave Mustaine of black metal. He just knew what riffs to put where and what riffs to coincide with other riffs to make a great song that's going to stick in your head, even if it's a complex, fast one, you know, with a lot of changes. And Sons of Northern Darkness isn't as complex as At the Heart of Winter, but there's definitely the variety, and it's got this production value that is just cold. There are not many albums, I know a lot of people say that, there are not many albums that I consider having a very cold production. Sons of Northern Darkness definitely has a cold production, and in the best way possible. It makes you feel like you're listening to it on a fucking Antarctic mountain. It's fucking crazy. It's really good. I'm sure most of you guys have heard Immortal, but if you have not heard that album, or maybe you're not convinced, give it another listen. It's really good. It took me quite a few listens to come to the conclusion that it was my favorite of the bunch, but, you know, after so many listens, and really, I think what made me realize is it was how many times I would put that on ahead of other albums, and it's infinitely more. I just put the album on a ton. It's always on. It's so good. And when I first got it, it was on a lot. So, that was number 10. Number 9. Oh my god, my favorite German band of all time. No joke. And there is a band in Sweden with the same name, but it's not spelled the same. This is Nagel from Germany. And I know a lot of people like to laugh at their name and make fun of their name. I don't know why, but whatever. Maybe it sounds funny. I always thought it sounded mystical and fucking badass sounding, and their covers are so good. I remember when I first heard of them, seeing their album covers and their logo, I was like, whoa. I want to listen to that. I don't know what it is, but I want to listen to that. There's something about their logo and their covers that is so enticingly cool. And the music is the same way. I actually wrote a review for this on Metal Archives. I've only actually written 3 reviews on metal albums ever in my entire life. All 3 were for Metal Archives. And let's see, 2 of the 3 are in this list. Nagelfar Srantgraf, which is technically not a new album. It was like new material plus old reworked material, but it was presented as an album. To me, it's an album. It sounds like an album. It flows very well. Amazing for a second album. So fucking good. Such variety. Keyboards, horn sounding, clean vocals, chanting vocals, harsh vocals. Every single instrument does its job perfectly. Some songs border on almost 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. They're so good. And some of these really long songs are kind of in movements. Like the longest song on here, which is my favorite, I believe it's the second song, and every single word of these is in German. But the second song is incredible. It's so damn good. Third song, nearly as incredible as well. Just everything on this album. So well composed. I have to do a review for it as well on this channel. But you can check out a review I did on the Metal Archives. My name is Arius or Varion. Either way, somewhere on there you can find a review on there that I wrote a long ass time ago and praise this album to hell. It is so fucking good. It's so fucking good. Nagelfar, Srandroth, check it out. Kind of hard to find this edition, but they have re-released it, so, you know, try to find it and get a copy. Okay, another band that people are going to be like, well, what the fuck is that shit? Nobody fucking hears this shit. These guys are from Sweden. Kind of a super group, but way back in the day super group. You wouldn't even know who these guys are today. I'm not even going to bother telling you who they are. Ophthalmia. These guys are from Sweden. The album is Dominion. And this is a melodic masterpiece. No joke, masterpiece. So well written, so memorable. The first and last track, I hate to say I could do without. I'm not an intro fan, I'm not an outro fan. Unless it really is a very good instrumental or just something to add something new to the table. The intro and outro on this album, take it or leave it. I don't care. If you happen to listen to this album, just start from the second track. The other 6 tracks, 2 through 7, I believe. I believe there's 8 songs on here. Yes. 2 through 7 are fucking incredibly written. And very original. There's nobody that quite sounds like Ophthalmia, especially at this point. Their older stuff is very well received as well, but the production's not quite the same. It's not as good. The songwriting's not as good either. It's kind of clunky compared to this, which is very streamlined. If you remember the vocalist from Marduk before Ariok, Legion, he sounds very much like the vocalist on this album. If you like Marduk's old vocals, Ophthalmia is totally going to be up your alley vocal-wise. Very, very similar. I actually thought it was the same guy for a while, and after researching it's not, but apparently that dude did have something to do with the band later on. I don't know for sure. Anyways, it's hard to describe. It's really melodic, very catchy songs, sometimes thrashy. Reminds you of old school metal sometimes, and just a very good atmosphere. Just something you want to listen to after you hear it the first time. I remember showing a friend of mine this album one time, and he said the word classic instantly comes to mind. That's how good it was, that he just knew. And he was one of the only friends that I ever have shown this album. He instantly was just like, whoa, what have you found? And this is just a diamond in the rough. This is a gem. Number 7. If you know me at all, and most of you guys don't actually, not a lot of my friends are on this channel or anything like that, but I talk about this on my Facebook page. I have a page on Facebook I started. It's a group page. It's not my page, but I started a long time ago. There's like over 600 members. It's called SOMA, Southern Oregon Metal Alliance. And anyways, we just share videos and songs and flyers for shows and just metal stuff. And I post Panopticon all the time. And it is one of my favorite bands of all time. Albeit one of my newer favorite bands of all time. So, Panopticon, this album is called Kentucky. Really hard to describe, I would say, these guys, but it's one dude. It's one dude from Kentucky, and this album's talking about his home state. This album's really hard to describe. This band is hard to describe. It's not even a band. Like I said, it's one dude, but he does everything. But he doesn't program his drums. He doesn't really program much of anything. It's a very organic sound. And no joke, this is one of my favorite drummers of all time. He is so good. He's so fast and precise. yet his kit sounds like an old, like, crust band. There's this weird mix with Panopticon of, like, crust and black metal. He's all for anarchy and environmentalism, and it's really strange, but I find it quite enticing. I'm not usually for the gimmick of environmentalism or, you know, anarchy or anything like that, but he's a very intelligent person. You can really tell through his lyrics. I have pretty much all of his albums, and I'm just missing a couple splits. But, yeah, Panopticon is quite a force. He's a very original dude. His songs don't really sound like anything I've ever heard before. He did a split with a band called Lake of Blood one time, and that's the closest comparison, but they're even more of a unknown band, so you know, that's not really going to help you much. Sometimes it's acoustic. This album actually combines grassroots, bluegrass, Americana music, and what it does is there will be a black metal song, and then there will be an Americana song, and then there will be another black metal song. Sometimes in the songs there's Americana influence in the middle of some of the songs. There's flute, there's banjo. It's really interesting. Never heard anything like it. Probably never will again. Panopticon, like I said, is a force, and something so original. I cannot recommend it enough. If any of that sounds interesting, even this much, check out Panopticon Kentucky. It's mind-blowing. It really is. It's truly, truly amazing. And, you know, there's not many bands on this list that are from the U.S., and this is one of my favorites from the U.S., for sure. That and Nagel. Number 6. So in my last video, I mentioned these guys being more of a honorable mention or just like a special mention, but I actually ended up changing my top 10 just a tiny bit to throw this album in, to fit this album in. I was talking about Finnish metal, and I mentioned the band Sargeist, and I just couldn't help but add this in as my favorite of one of 20 of my favorite albums of all time, no joke, because I have to say it's gotten more playtime than things that I've had for 10 years. Sargeist, Let the Devil In, from Finland. My God, what the fuck are you gonna fucking do to top that fucking album, Sargeist? They already have a new album, and it's pretty fucking good, but it doesn't top that one. It's just, holy shit, it's so fucking memorable. It's incredible how memorable it is. They wrote the perfect songs. First, I was in love with the first and third song, and was just like, holy shit, these two songs are the Bible of black metal. And then I kept listening to it, and later songs would pop up, and admittedly there's one song in there I'm not a huge fan of, and that's actually the title track, Let the Devil In. It's the chorus, the Let the Devil In part. It sucks. It's almost punkish, predictable, yeah, that's the only song I'm not a fan of, but like the last song on the album and a couple others in the middle ended up being like creepers and like now favorites of mine, and really the second song, fuck. Never really paid much attention to the second song. I would go from the first song and skip to the third. And then, I don't know what it is, the very beginning of it. Such a hook. It catches you and you're like, fuck, you just want to destroy something. You want to fucking punch somebody in the face, or you want to fucking kick a wall down. I don't know, but dude, Sargeist Let the Devil In. I wasn't a fan before. I'm not even sure if I would have been a fan if I had heard the next album and hadn't heard this one. The next album's good, but fuck, it did not catch me like this album. This album, from the minute I pressed play, I was like, whoa, what the hell? The hype was underdone on this album. There was a little bit of a hype for this album. Dude, it didn't even equal the fucking output that it actually was. I was pleasantly surprised. So, yeah, Sargeist, number 6, Let the Devil In. Fuck, go listen to this immediately. Panopticon, all these, go listen to them immediately. But God, if you want catchiness for black metal, Sargeist is the one. The next album, fuck, you guys are gonna have to agree with this one, man. I mean, fuck, of all the Satyricon albums, dude, seriously, Nemesis Divina, I don't think the Shadow Throne is gonna equal it. I really don't. God, I don't think any of their shit's gonna equal it, especially their newer stuff. I'm not into the whole black and roll thing. Some bands do it okay. Ajatara from Finland, pretty good. And some Satyricon, the black and roll stuff is okay, but Nemesis Divina, back when they were playing symphonic black metal with an attitude, fuck, dude. Mother North. Who doesn't love Mother North? Fucking A, that song's so good. Not my favorite song. However, my favorite song on the album is For Hexet. Holy shit. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but fucking damn. And then there's another song on this. What's, Do Some Hater Good? I don't know if that's pronounced right either. Holy shit, there's a riff in there that sounds like something from Dragon Warrior. The video games, if you're not familiar with Dragon Warrior, it's an old school Nintendo game, and I swear it's the part where you first enter dungeons. It reminds me of it somewhere in that song, and fuck, dude, it's so good. It's melodic, the keyboards kick ass, the drumming from Frost is so fucking good. The attitude that they portray and the pictures portray, and just their songwriting, it's an incredible experience. And this being Christmas time, I always remember this album because my sister, of all people, got me this album. She ordered it online for me, and like nobody ever buys me black metal for Christmas, least of all my family who doesn't like metal. So it was like a really special treat. I opened this and was like, Satyricon, Nemesis Divina, you guys ordered me a black metal CD? Fuck yes. Like, I'll never forget that. Really fucking cool memory. And so cool that I actually got that for Christmas. So, we're down to number 4. And this one's fucking good. Though I'm not sure people are going to agree on the band or the album. However, I don't think I would list this band in my top 20 had it been any other album. This is the one that caught my eye, caught my ear, whatever. It's the darkest, in my opinion, and a weird album, and the atmosphere. Holy shit, this was when I was playing music in a garage with a buddy of mine. Him on drums, me on guitar, that's it. In the dark sometimes, and we'd be drinking and smoking, and we'd be fucked up and just playing the craziest compositions. And at the time I was showing my buddy Shining, and they were hugely influencing our Doom music. Shining 3. Oh yeah, Angst. That's the name of the album. Couldn't remember for a second there. Damn, dude. Okay, so the first 2 Shining albums are pretty good. Don't get me wrong. And then 4 and on are really good too. Don't get me wrong, especially 4. Fuck, I love 4 a lot. I actually am a huge Shining fan, and not for the gimmickiness, not for the suicidal fucking crap, whatever. Pill popping, I don't care. I don't care about the pill popping, the fucking suicidal, cutting, the gimmicks. In fact, when I first heard Shining, I knew nothing of that. All I knew was this album. All I knew was complete, utter fucking blackness mixed with heavy bass lines. And when I heard those bass lines plodding along, moving the music more than the guitars, I was fucking hypnotized. If you are a fan of Shining and have never heard this album, fucking listen to this album on a dark night under some intoxicants, and you will fucking know what I'm talking about. If you have not heard Shining, I highly suggest you start at this point. So fucking dark, so moody, and desperate sounding. Fucking A, dude. Everything from the vocals. This is one of the few, very few black metal bands where I can say everything, every single point on this album kicks ass. Because so many times in black metal I could say everything kicks ass except for the bass. You can't hear the bass. No, Shining has quite prominent bass, and one of the reasons that I absolutely love Shining. Fuck, dude. Number 3, Angst. Go listen to it now. God, all these. I keep saying that. Go listen to that now. Hopefully you pause to listen to that, and hopefully you pause to listen to that, and that, and that. I don't know. Somehow you need to listen to all these. Shining when it's raining and dark, and you are not in the quite right state of mind. Oh, man. It is a trip. Speaking of trips, fuck, dude, I have this on vinyl, too. So proud to own this on CD and vinyl because it's hard to get either way. The original pressing of Thunderbolt, The Burning Deed of Deceit. And yes, on vinyl as well, original pressing. So fucking good. Long, awesome, brutal black metal. And I say brutal not in the way of like Belphegor or like Archon and Faustus or anything like that, but more in the way of like brutal as far as atmosphere and just like pound, 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 pound. The drums are just constantly beating the shit out of you. maybe like Anorexia Nervosa without keyboards, or Seth without keyboards. Thunderbolt is one of the most important Polish bands to me, in my opinion. Super important, just amazing black metal that is unmatched. I have not really heard a band that sounds quite like them that matches their ferocity. And no joke, that's the proper word, ferocity. These guys are ferocious. They have such anger pent up inside them. It's fucking incredible. These songs are so addictive as fuck. They're so addictive, so memorable for being such hateful, hateful songs. This would probably be, if you watched my last video, the 20 through 11, I told you what my top black metal album of all time was, and my second top black metal of all time. This is my third top black metal album of all time, Watan, Casus Luciferi. Much like Shining and Thunderbolt, which I found all about the same time period. These three albums I found all about the same time period. Just blew me away. The songwriting on Watan is like a craft brew beer. It's like a microbrew. It's something that when you've been listening to other black metal and then you hear this masterpiece, you're like, fuck, why was this element of awesomeness missing from all that black metal I listened to before? Why had I not heard this in Mayhem or Dark Throne or name band number 367 that is just, pretty good but maybe not quite the shit? Casus Luciferi, and I know Watan have gained a lot of popularity these days, and I do like their newer albums too. They're not bad. They're not bad. But this, and Sworn to the Dark, are fucking amazing, man. I can't stop listening to them. They're classics. They truly are classics. They're albums that 10 years from now I'm going to be saying, Casus Luciferi, still one of my favorite albums. I've had this album for so long, and I haven't ever gotten tired of it, ever. Every time I push play, I cannot stop the album. It plays all the way through. And there's not many CDs I could say I do that with. What's playing right now, Celestia, one of the bands where I listen to their CDs all the way through, all the time. Celestia from France, good shout out to those guys. But yeah, Watan, I can take or leave some of their songs on their newer albums where I'm just like, they're not bad, they're okay. But nothing I need to listen to. This. When you press play, you are dying to know what the hell is going to come next. Of special note are their transitions between riffs and just movements. There's always something quirky happening on this album, like, okay, in between this riff and this riff, we're going to do a very fast drum blast beat and then stop all of a sudden. And everybody's going to stop at once and then start back up all of a sudden. Or the vocals are going to keep screaming and everybody else is going to stop. Or there's going to be a dun 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 in between a riff. Every single transition has something special thrown in. It makes the songwriting seem so much better in comparison to so many other albums out there. It's crazy. Watan's Casus Luciferi is another force to be reckoned with. It is a beast of an album that is hard to match. Truly is hard to match, and Watan has not matched it since, in my opinion. Sworn to the Dark came very, very close, but there were a couple songs I could have taken or leave and took or left, whatever. Check that album out. Last album I have for you out of the entire top 20, and certainly is very high on my list, actually. Probably would be number 4 if we were going by importance. Oh man, this is magical. Vinder, 1184. The year 1184. Oh my god, holy shit. Good god, man. And I was hard pressed on which Vinder album to include, because Lickford, very good album as well. But this one, when I discovered this, and the clean singing on it, and the guitar writing, and the drumming, and the keyboards, and I mean just literally everything, and the way it was composed, and then I found out it was written by one dude, and that he had died, and just the whole story behind Vinder. It's hard to describe. The metal is so good that it almost seems like you're saying, how has this not been written before? How had nobody written these riffs before, whether it was in metal or not, even in rock and roll? There were some riffs in 1184 where I was just like, that is genius. And so catchy and so good. How was this not done before? How were these plain vocals never combined with this kind of guitar writing and keyboards before? It seemed impossible to me that it was written so well by one guy. It was almost like I was racking my brain trying to find out where this guy had ripped these riffs off from, because they were so good. They had to be from something, and no. It's not that at all. I just wasn't giving that guy enough credit when I first started listening to these guys. He was a genius of his time. He was really fucking good, and rest in peace to him. He was fucking amazing. His name is Valfar. Valfar from Vinder wrote pretty much most of their material. I'm not sure if he wrote all of it, but most of their material was written by him solely. And when he died, supposedly the story is, hiking to his parents' house in the snow, he was caught off guard by a blizzard and basically froze to death on his way to his parents. Very sad, tragic death. And, you know, always the very genius writers seem to die. Chuck from Death, and Cliff from Metallica, and even Dimebag from Pantera. It's just the really good ones tend to expire, and fuck man, he was at his peak. He was at his peak. Lickford was actually the last technical release, but in my opinion 1184 and that album are kind of their peak. Really hard to decide between the two. I just kind of had to go with one. So if you like 1184 and haven't heard Lickford, listen to that. If you've heard Lickford and never heard 1184, do the opposite. Just listen to both of those albums. You'll be pleasantly surprised by the Viking goodness. And basically that's all I have for you guys. That was number 10 through 1 after the other video. Hopefully you guys watched that as well. If not, like I said, I'll put a link down below so you can watch that out of order. It doesn't really matter because they were just done in alphabetical order anyways. So, what are your favorite black metal albums of all time? Ideally in the comments, I'd like to see a top 20 list. That'd be amazing. Top 10 list would be great. Top 5 list? Hell, a top 3 list would be awesome. But, yeah, tell me what your favorite black metal albums of all times are, and what do you think of my list? I know I don't choose conventional shit. I know of all-time albums, you're probably not going to see this Ophthalmia CD on many people's lists, but, listen to it and let me know what you guys think. And if you like the video and you like the content, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button in the corner. And if you want to see more videos by me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you'll be sure to see videos in your feed. And yeah, that'd be awesome. So you guys can hit me up here, hit me up with comments. I'm thinking about making a Facebook page as well, so you guys can hit me up there. So that's all I have for you guys. Keep it fucking metal.